Welcome to our very first module. We are going to jump right in and get to the heart of one of the biggest buzzwords in AI right now, agents. So let's break down what an AI agent actually is, because trust me, it's way more than just a fancy chatbot.
So, let me start with a question for you. Think about the AI you use every day. Is it just sitting there waiting for your instructions? Does it only do something when you give it a specific command? For most of the AI we interact with, the answer is a definite yes. But that's a limitation that is changing, and fast.
And this slide right here, this is the core distinction. A chatbot is fundamentally reactive. You give it a prompt, it spits out an answer, and that's it. The interaction is over. An agent, though? An agent is proactive. You don't just give it a prompt, you give it a goal. And it then works on its own, over multiple steps, to actually achieve it.
So there's our working definition. An AI agent is an AI that pursues a goal over multiple steps. The core formula is really simple. You just have to remember 3 words: goal, loop, and state. The goal is its mission, its objective. The loop is that continuous cycle of actions it takes. And state? Well, state is just its memory of what's happened so far. This simple formula is what lets it plan and pull off some really complex tasks.
Okay, so how does this whole thing actually work under the hood? Let's take a look inside the agent's engine and its core decision-making cycle. We call it the observe, think, act loop.
The process is actually pretty intuitive. First, the agent observes. It just takes a look around and reads the current situation. Then, it thinks. This is where the AI model decides on the best next move to get closer to its goal. And finally, it acts. It goes and does that thing, whether that's calling an external tool, asking you a question, or just writing some text. And as soon as it's done, guess what? The loop starts all over again. Observe, think, act.
Now this all sounds amazing in theory, right? But in the real world, agents fail a lot. So before we even think about writing a single line of code, it's absolutely crucial to understand how they fail so we can build systems that are a bit more robust.
Here are the big 3 you really need to watch out for. First, bad config. This is the simple stuff. A typo in a URL, a missing API key, which is basically just a password for a service. These simple mistakes can stop your agent dead in its tracks. Second, we have format drift. This one's tricky. It's when the AI model just decides to give you its answer in a different format all of a sudden, which can completely break your code. And third, the one that makes everyone nervous, runaway costs. If you let a loop run unchecked, it can burn through your API credits so fast. We are definitely going to tackle that one later, but you need to be aware of it right from the start.
All right, that's enough theory. It is time to get our hands dirty and move from these concepts into some actual code. In this first hands-on exercise, you're going to apply what we've just talked about and see these ideas in action.
So here's your toolkit for this mission. You've got the Python script, a config file template for your secret keys, and a requirements.txt file that lists all the other code you'll need. Oh, and a quick tip, don't copy-paste any code you see on the screen. Make sure you use the actual files we provided for you.
The setup is super simple, just 2 steps. First, get your configuration ready. All you have to do is rename that env.example file to .env and then pop in your API keys. Second, install the dependencies. Just open up your terminal, get to the right project folder, and run pip install -r requirements.txt. And that's it. You'll be all set to start coding.
So what's your actual goal here? It's simple, but it's really important. You need to make the script output valid JSON, which is just a standard way to organize data, and you need to do it successfully 3 times in a row. This is your first real step in taming the model and making sure its output is reliable.
Now, to pull this off, you only need to make one tiny change inside the script. You're going to be editing the system message, and you need to add this exact phrase: no markdown, no code fences. This is a classic, fundamental example of prompt engineering that helps us control the model's output and prevent that format drift we were just talking about.
And how will you know that you've nailed it? Well, when you run the script, you should see perfectly structured, consistently parsable JSON output every single time. No errors, no weird formatting, just clean, usable data. That's what success looks like here.
So, this first exercise is a really crucial building block. But believe me, it's just the start of our journey. Now let's look ahead at how we're going to build on this foundation to create an agent that's truly reliable and actually useful.
As we move forward, we're going to build this thing up step by step. We'll construct a proper engine that can handle things like automatic retries.
We'll give our agent tools so it can interact with the outside world. We'll implement strict loop control, give it a memory, and finally, we'll make sure it's grounded in facts. By the end, you'll have a reliable agent that can act safely and effectively.
So as you dive into this first exercise, I want to leave you with a final thought to chew on. If you could build your own AI agent right now, today, what is the very first goal you would give it? All right, let's get started.